Hello guys. In this video we'll be studying about chordata completely, and with this video we'll complete the complete animal kingdom session as well. Okay, and in the previous videos we had a clear idea about all other phylums, and this will be the last phylum, chordata. And this chordata is you can say like chordata will be classified. Okay, chordata will be classified as one of the highly developed phylum. Okay, but even in this chordata also some underdeveloped organisms are also classified. Okay, we'll see what are all those. When we talk about phylum chordata, these chordatas are classified. Okay, these chordatas are classified based on some three fundamental characters. Okay, so first character is notochord. Notochord is nothing but you can say a spinal cord. Okay, notochord is nothing but spinal cord, so which is solid. Okay, so which is solid, and the origin will be mesodermal. Okay, it will be, the origin will be mesodermal, and later this will be developed into vertebral column. Okay, so that is the first classification, first character of the members involved in phylum chordata. The second character is dorsal hollow nerve cord. Okay, and this dorsal hollow nerve cord is also known as dorsal tubular nerve cord, or also known as neural tube. Okay, usually it will be hollow in shape, or hollow in shape, where the space will be filled. Okay, and it is ectodermal in origin, and later it will be developed into CNS. Okay, that is central nervous system. And the third fundamental character is pharyngeal gill slits, which is bilaterally. Okay, pharyngeal gill slits, which gives a bilateral symmetry, which gives a bilateral symmetrical organ. Okay, symmetrical organ system level, triploblastic as well as eucoelomate. Okay, so here the post and tail may or may not be present. Okay, so we'll first see what are some features and the common characters which is present in chordates and non-chordates. Okay, so if you talk about chordates, see here, we can see about the features. The spinal cord will be present in chordates, whereas in non-chordates the spinal cord will be absent. Okay, and the central nervous system will be central nervous system will be present, which is in the dorsal part of your body, that is back of your body, and the hollow, it is hollow in hollow or cylindrical in shape. Okay, and when you talk about non-chordates, usually the CNS will be double, and it will be present in the ventral part, and it will be not an hollow part, it is solid. Okay, and the cranium and vertebra, cranium is nothing but the skull, and the vertebra is nothing but the vertebral column. Okay, so the vertebral column which is covering the spinal cord, right? Okay, so chordates usually it contains both cranium and vertebral column. Cranium helps to cover the brain, whereas the vertebra helps to cover the spinal cord, whereas in non-chordates it is absent. When we talk about pharynx, here it is perforated by gill slits, whereas here gill slits are completely absent. Okay, and the tail part, post and tail part will be present, whereas here it is absent, and the heart will be present in the ventral region, whereas here the heart will be present in a dorsal region. Make it sure, like when you talk about the body, the upper part will be called as dorsal part, and the lower part is called as ventral part. So in humans, the spinal cord will be present in a dorsal region, whereas the heart will be present in a ventral region. Right, so this will be helping. This will help you to understand which is a dorsal part as well as which is ventral part. Right, so we'll be going to the classification of phylum chordata. See, phylum chordata, it is a vast classification. Okay, so it is classified under some subphylums also. Three types of subphylums are there. One is Urochordata. This Urochordata is also called as Tunicata. Let me take blue color so you will understand. Yeah. So subphylum Urochordata, it is also called as Tunicata. So here in Urochordata, usually the notochord will be present in only larval stage. Remember this, in subphylum Urochordata, the organisms which is involved in subphylum Urochordata, the notochord, that is the spinal cord, will be present only in the larval stage. And the next one is subphylum Cephalochordata, where the notochord will be present throughout the body as well as throughout the lifetime. Okay, so till the end of the lifetime, so the notochord will be present. So usually this subphylum Urochordata and subphylum Cephalochordata are collectively called as protochordata. Okay, So this is collectively called as Protochordata. Let's come to subphylum Vertebrata. Okay, I'll just give some examples of Urochordata. Urochordata examples, you can say Ascidia, Salfa, and Doliolum. Okay, so I will write some Ascidia, Salfa, and Doliolum. Okay, these are all the examples of Urochordata. And when we talk about Cephalochordata, Branchiostoma will be the example of Cephalochordata. Let me write here Branchiostoma. Okay, Branchiostoma is an example of Cephalochordata. Let's come to subphylum Vertebra. Okay, here in this vertebratal subphylum, the notochord will be found in embryonic life, which is replaced by a vertebral column. So that means in embryonical stage we can see a spinal cord, which is later further it will be replaced by vertebral column. Okay, so this subphylum Vertebrata, it will be divided. Okay, it will be further classified into divisions. Two divisions are there. One is Agnatha and another one is Gnathostomata. Okay, Gnathostomata. Okay, so when we talk about Agnatha, it is further classified into one single class, that is called as class Cyclostoma, and Gnathostomata will be further classified into superclasses Pisces and Tetrapoda. This superpisces will be further classified into a class Chondrichthyes and Aesthetics. Okay, two classes are there, whereas in superclass Tetrapoda, 4 classes will be there. One is Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves, and Mammals. So in this video, we'll be learning about everything clearly. We'll learn everything clearly in depth, right? Okay. First, we'll have some basic features of our. First, we'll have some basic features of our division Agnatha and Gnathostomata. Okay, Gnathostomata. Okay, so when we talk about this, like first we are talking about Cyclostomata, Chondrichthyes, and Aesthetics, right? Okay, Osteitis, right? Members. So first in Cyclostomata, the members will be all called as cyclostomates. They are all called as cyclostomates. Here you can say example hagfish will be there. Okay, hagfish is one of important examples of cyclostomata. Okay, and chondrichthyes like cartilaginous fishes will be present. Okay, like you can say shark will be present here. Okay, sharks will be the example. Okay, and next one is Osteitis, where the bony fishes will be present. Okay, so labio, catfish type of examples are there. Labio and catfish are the examples of Osteitis, right? And jaws, here jaw will be absent, whereas here jaw will be present. Okay, when we talk about pair appendages, that is jointed legs, in cyclostoma the jointed legs will be absent, whereas in the rest two of the classes the jointed legs will be present, right? Okay, when habitat like cyclostoma and chondrichthyes both are marine. Okay, and Osteitis will be marine as well as freshwater. Okay, exoskeleton, the outer skeleton will not be present in cyclostoma, whereas the chondrichthyes will be having a placoid dermal cells. Placoid means you can see you might have all seen fishes. Okay, so when you see a fish, so we'll be having this type of scales over the fishes. Okay, over the fishes you can see the scales. Okay, this type of scales are called as placoid dermal scales. Okay, and in Osteitis, like it is called as cycloid or ctenoid dermal scales, so which is also called as smooth edge scales, Okay, instead of this type of scales, it will be having like round shape of scales, right? Okay, that is called as cycloid. Okay, and when we talk about respiration, the cyclostoma organisms will be having 6 to 15 pairs of gills, whereas here the gills pairs will not be counted. Okay, normally the gills will be single in pairs. Okay, here it is single pairs. Heart two chambered. Okay, it is all two chambered, so the mixing of oxygen and the carbon dioxide will occur for sure. Okay, and excretion based in the kidney. Okay, so excretion mesonephric and prosonephric. Two types of kidneys are present. Okay, one is prosonephric and another one is mesonephric. So mesonephric is nothing but where the urine will not be highly concentrated, whereas in prosonephric urine will be highly concentrated. Okay, so mostly you can say in higher organism most of the kidney will be most of the kidney present in a higher organisms all will be metanephric. Okay, it is all metanephric. Okay, so meso and prosonephric will be present in the lower organisms. Okay, so this will be the mesonephric, right? When we talk about cranial nerves, which is present in the brain, which is covered over the skull, right? Okay, so myxin will be having 8 pairs and lamprey will be having 10 pairs. Okay, which is the members of cyclostoma. Okay, and here chondrichthyes will be having 10 pairs of cranial nerves, whereas in osteitis will be also having 10 pairs of cranial nerves. And next one, whether they are homeothermic or poikilothermic. When we talk about what is homeo and what is poikilo, poikilothermic means usually cold-blooded. You might have all heard about cold-blooded organism. That means it will be the cold-blooded organisms will be directly it will be directly depending on the external environment temperature. Cold-blooded organisms will be directly responsible, or you can say where the outer temperature is high, the internal temperature of the organisms will also be high. Okay, whether the outer temperature is low, the internal temperature will also be low. So that is what called as poikilothermic. So all these three classes have poikilothermic. All are cold-blooded organisms only. Okay, and some other important points we can see for cyclostoma, chondritis, and osteitis. Okay, some different points are you can say in cyclostoma, all members are ectoparasites. Ectoparasites means, so here that means living members will be living over the outside the host. Okay, the members will be living outside the host. The members will not be inside the host. Okay, so and it will be possessing suctorial mouth. Let's say a host is there. Over this host the cyclostoma is present. Okay, so over this host the cyclostoma is present, which is having a suctorial jaw. Okay, suctorial mouth without jaw. So with the help of the suctorial mouth, it helps to suck the energy from the host. Okay, and there is no jaws present. And this cyclostoma type of organisms will migrate to freshwater for spawning. Spawning is nothing but releasing or depositing their eggs. Okay, so for releasing the eggs, it will be moving to the fresh water. Okay, and after once it is spawned, then it will come back to the its own habitat. But usually there is a say, like after spawning, usually the organisms will not live for a long time. It will be dead. Okay, and the larvae which is spawned, the larvae from the egg which is released from the egg, that will be returned to the ocean after metamorphosis. Metamorphosis means from the larval stage to adult stage. Once it is converted, okay, then it will again go back to the ocean. So this is how the cyclostoma organisms live. Examples are protomyzon and myxin. Protomyzon and myxin are the two examples. Okay, protomyzon, you can say common name of protomyzon, I guess it is lamprey. Lamprey is the common name of protomyzon, and myxin, hagfish is the example of myxin. Right, the next one is chondrichthyes. Chondrichthyes, here the teeth is also modified placoid scales. Okay, here the teeth is also modified into placoid scales. Okay, and here the members are usually predators. That means they will hunt and they will eat. Okay, with the help of their powerful jaws. Since there is an absence of air bladder, they used to swim continuously to prevent themselves from sinking. Okay, so continuous swimming will be present. Okay, so the organisms will be continuously swimming to prevent from the sinking. Whereas here in osteitis, here the air bladder will be present. Okay, which provides the buoyancy. Okay, so it will be preventing the fish from sinking even when it is not swimming. Right, so that is the difference between chondrichthyes and osteitis. Right, when we talk about examples of chondrichthyes, Scalidon is also called as dogfish. Okay, Scalidon is also called as dogfish, or you can say a shark. Okay, torpedo, okay, which possess electric organs. Okay, Trigon is also called as stingray. Okay, it is also called a stingray, which possess a poison sting. Okay, and Pristis, which is also called as sawfish. Carcharodon, which is called as great white shark. This is also called as great white shark. Okay, and chimera is also nothing but ratfish. Okay, so these are all the common names of these organisms. And when we talk about examples of osteichthyes, exocoitus, and hippocampus and angula. So all these three organisms are considered as marine members. Okay, they will be living in the marine. Okay, so exocoitus is nothing but flying fish. Exocoitus is nothing but flying fish. Okay, and angula is nothing but eel. Angula is nothing but eel. Okay, hippocampus is nothing but seahorse. Okay, these are all the common names of all this. And Labioclarius, Catla, all this comes under. This all comes under freshwater membranes. Okay, this all comes under freshwater members. Okay, Labio rohu is the common name. Clarius mager is the common name. Okay, Catla is the same common name. Okay, and the last two, beta and pterophyllum, so which are all aquarium based organism. Okay, aquarium based organisms. So beta is fighting fish. Okay, we can say fighter. Okay, I hope all you know this, fighter fish. Okay, and pterophyllum, which is called as angelfish. Okay, which is called as angelfish, right? So with this we are completing our Cyclostoma, Chondrichthyes and Aesthetics, right? If you have any doubts, you can just leave your comments. Okay, so I will be happy to answer you. Okay, then we'll come to the next further rest of the classes, which is Amphilia. Okay, which is Amphilia, Reptilia, Aves, mammals, etc. Right? So now first one. So again we'll start studying about the basic characters of our amphibia, reptilia, and all these things. So first, when we talk about the members of amphibia, as we all know, members of amphibia is nothing but which will be present in both land and soil, right? Okay, which will be present in both soil and water, right? That is called as amphibia. Okay, and reptilias will be usually it will be terrestrial. Okay, usually it lives in terrestrial, but still sometimes it moves into waters also. But actually it prefer to live in reptiles. It prefer to live in terrestrial places. Okay, and aves, which are the flying or flightless birds. Mammalia, which are all called as, are differed into three types. One is based on oviparous, viviparous, and ovoviviparous. Okay, so we can say prototherans or oviparous, metatherans or viviparous, and eutherans or ovoviviparous. Okay, so these are all the members of all other classes. And when we talk about jaw, amphibia will be having jaw, reptiles will have jaw, whereas aves will be modified. It will have a jaw, but the jaws are modified into beaks. Okay, whereas in mammalia, obviously, mammals are usually we humans, right? Okay, so we will be having jaw. Paired appendages, that is joint appendages, will be there exactly. Okay, it will be present in all classes. Okay, habitat, usually it is aquatic and semi-aquatic. Semi-aquatic means it will be preferring for terrestrial places also. That means the seaside, seashore types. Okay, so that is called as semi-aquatic. Reptilia will prefer mostly in terrestrial. Okay, and aves will prefer in arboreal or aerial. Arboreal means which will prefer to live on trees. Okay, live on trees. Okay, that is called as arboreal. And terrestrial, mammalians used to live on terrestrial. Okay, when we talk about exoskeleton, that is outer protective layer, amphibians will not have any outer protective layer, and reptilia will be having the epidermal scales over it, whereas the aves will also have epidermal scales. Even feathers will also be present in a modified form. Okay, that is all in present in aves. And in mammals, hairs, nails are all the exoskeletons. When we talk about respiration, here amphibians will have all type of respiratory organs like lungs, skin, buccal line, is because it prefers to live in both land and water, right? When we talk about reptilias, it will be having lungs for respiration, whereas aves will have lungs and air sacs. Okay, lungs with air sacs will be there, whereas mammalia will be having lungs. And when we talk about heart, okay, amphibia will be having 3 chamber, reptilia will be having 3 chamber, aves will have 4 chamber, and mammals will have 4 chamber. In reptiles, you can say one exception is there, crocodile. Crocodile. Okay, so crocodile usually present in reptiles, but it also have 4 chambers. That is one exception. Okay, so other features about this classes: excretion, yes, see, In the larval stage, amphibians will be having prosonephric kidney, whereas in adult it will have mesonephric. Whereas reptiles and aves and mammalia will all have metanephric kidney. Okay, that means highly concentrated urine will be released in reptiles, aves, and mammals. Okay, so the concentration of urine, the urine will not be concentrated in prosonephric, whereas in mesonephric, some amount of less amount of urine will be concentrated. That is what. Right, excretory waste. When we talk about excretory waste, which is released from the kidney, either in amphibia, in the larval stage it will be ammonotelic. That means which will release ammonia. In adult, it will be ureotelic. It will releases urea. When we talk about reptilia and aves both are uricotelic. It will be releasing uric acid. Mammalia will be releasing ureotelic, right? Okay, and cranial nerves, the brain nerves. Okay, so 10 pairs of brain nerves are present in amphibia, 12 pairs will be in reptilia, and 12 pairs will be in aves. But snakes will also be involved in aves because of hollow bones. Okay, but still it has 10 pairs, which is an exception. Mammalia will be having 12 pairs. And next one is, amphibia will be poikilothermic, that is cold-blooded. Amphibians are cold-blooded. Reptilias are also cold-blooded, whereas aves are all warm-blooded. Aves and mammalia are all warm-blooded. That means it will not depend on the external temperature. Okay, the internal temperature of the body will be maintained. That is called as homeothermic. I hope you understood. Okay, now we'll study. Now we are completing our chapter. Now we'll have some basic, or you can say some deep idea about some extra points about amphibia. Okay, so usually these amphibians will be present in both live in aquatic as well as in terrestrial habitats, right? Okay, so the body will contains head part, trunk part, and 2 pairs of limbs. Okay, tail may or may not present. Tail may or may not present in this. Usually limbs are absent in few. Okay, few organisms limbs will be absent. That means digits and hands and legs will be absent. Okay, and it will be having eyes, will be having eyelids. Okay, eye will be having eyelids, right? Okay, usually it has a moist skin because some skin is also acting as a respiratory organ, right? Okay, so it has a moist skin, and exoskeleton usually it is absent. Exoskeleton usually it is absent. Okay, and it has a cloaca. Okay, this is one important point. Amphibians have cloaca. Cloaca is nothing but a common opening. Cloaca is nothing but a common opening for gut, for gut, urinary duct, and reproductive tract, and for reproductive tract. When we talk about examples of amphibia, rana is nothing but frog. Okay, so this is all the scientific names given here. I will be mentioning the common names for you, right? Rana, frog, buffo, is toad, hyla, tree frog. Okay, it is called as tree frog. Ambiostoma is nothing but tiger. Okay, and salamandra is nothing but salamander. Okay, salamanders. And Proteus is cave salamander. It is called as cave salamander. And last one is Ichthyopis, which is limbless amphibia. Okay, this question was once this organisms was once asked in NEET in the options. Limbless amphibia. Okay, limbless amphibia is called as Ichthyopis. Right. Next, we'll go to reptilia. In reptilia, usually the organisms which is involved in reptilia, they will be creeping and crawling. Okay, they used to creep and crawl. Okay, that is for movement. Okay, and the skin will be usually it is dried and it will be covered with scales. Okay, and they are truly terrestrial animals. They are completely terrestrial animals. And this possibilities is because of 2 reasons. One is it will be having a shelled egg. Okay, and it will be having a presence of scales on the body. Okay, snakes and lizards will be shed their scales as skin, which is termed as slotting. Okay, there is one important term called as slotting. Slowing. Okay, slowing is nothing but snakes and lizards will shed their scales. Snakes and lizards will shed. Okay, will shed their scales. That means will remove their scales. Okay, as a skin, and that part, that removal of skin is called as sloughing. Okay, and examples of reptilia, like so many examples are there. Okay, so we'll be having some few, which is chelone type of examples. Chelones are nothing but tortoise. Okay, chelones are nothing but tortoise. Okay, so different tortoise, turtles, okay, all comes under chelones. Okay, lizards, okay, different types of lizards are here. Chameleon is nothing but a tree lizard. Okay, chameleon. Okay, chameleon, which is called as tree lizard. Okay, and heloderma, which is a poisonous lizard. Okay, and Varanus, Komodo dragon, and largest lizard. Okay, Komodo dragon is the largest lizard. Okay, fine. The next one is snakes. Okay, snakes is nothing but both two types are there. In snakes, two types are there. Either it is poisonous or non-poisonous. Okay, so in poisonous, you can say cobra will be there, kite will be there, viper will be there. In non-poisonous, you can say python will be there. Okay, and anaconda. Okay, usually whichever we feel scary, those are all non-poisonous. See, python is non-poisonous, and anaconda is non-poisonous, and double-headed snake is non-poisonous, but all comes under reptiles. Okay, and in the reptilia, crocodiles, alligators, all also considered as reptiles, right? The next one is aves. Okay, so aves will be nothing but birds, right? Aves are nothing but birds, which has a presence of feather. Okay, and most are capable of flying. Okay, they will be having a presence of beak, which is a modified jaw. Okay, which is a modified jaw. Okay, so the forelimbs will be modified into wings. Okay, forelimbs will be modified into wings, whereas the hind limbs will be covered by scales. The hind limbs will be covered by scales to perform various function like walking. Okay, so which helps in various function like walking, grasping of prey, swimming, preaching, all these things. It is helps from with the help of covering the hind limbs. And when we talk about adaptation for flying in birds, some few adaptations are there where the presence of wings and feathers, so it will be flying. Okay, and it has air sacs in lungs. Okay, so when it is flying in a high altitude, it can easily respirate. Okay, and it has an hollow bones, so it will be flexible, and the gut contains, the complete digestion contains crop and gizzard parts. Okay, so which helps in grinding the food particles in a easier way. Okay, that is all called as crop and gizzard. Okay, when we talk about examples of aves, flying birds are there, flightless birds are there. Okay, flying birds, passer is nothing but sparrow. Okay, sparrow. Corvus is nothing but your crow. So just common names. Okay, we used to be very familiar with common names, but we don't know scientific names, right? Pistacula. Okay, pistacula is nothing but your parrot. Okay, columba, which is a pigeon. Pavo, peacock. Okay, and neophron, which is called as vulture. Neophron, which is called as vulture. When we talk about flightless bird, Shrutio, which is ostrich, and emu, two birds are there, and aptenodytes, which is also called as penguin. Okay, so these are all the examples of aves. The last but not least, we are going to complete the chapter, that is with mammals, right? Mammalia, okay, that is one unique character which has a presence of mammary glands. Okay, and usually it will be found in habitats like terrestrial, arboreal, and as well as in and aquatic organisms also. Okay, so other unique features which make the mammals to be highly developed organisms are, so it will be having corpus callosum. It has corpus callosum. Okay, so which is absent in protherians, right? Remember this corpus callosum, which is a layer which attaches the lobes of your brain, right? That is corpus callosum, and it has a diaphragm. Okay, it has a diaphragm. It has hairs which is covered the whole body, and it has a placenta, development of placenta for supplying the food and oxygen for the baby. Okay, and it also have external ear. It also has external ear, which is also called as pinna. Okay, which is absent in aquatic mammals, right? Remember this point. So pinna is a exception where in aquatic mammals pinna is absent. Okay, and it also has an heterodont conditions, which is also in crocodiles. So this all factors which makes the mammalia mammals to be highly developed organisms. Okay, when we talk about examples, three types of mammals are there. One is prototherons, which lay oviparous, which is oviparous. Okay, and metatherians, which is viviparous. Okay, and eutherians, which is true placental mammals. Okay, when we talk about prototherans, example of prototherans are ornithorhynchus, which is also called as platypus. Platypus is the common name of it. Okay, and metatherians, macropus. Macropus is nothing but kangaroo. Okay, kangaroo. Okay, and sacrophilus, which is also called as Tasmanian devil, which is also called as Tasmanian devil. Okay, fine. And when we talk about eutherians are the true placental mammals, right? Okay, so what are all the examples? Very common. See, these are all the common organisms which we are able to see every day. Okay, day by day life, in our day-to-day lifetime. Okay, but we don't know the names of those scientific. Okay, so Desmodus is nothing but vampire bat. Okay, Pteropus is flying fox. Elephas, obviously elephant, everyone know. Rattus, rat. Okay, and Canis, dog. Felis is cat. Okay, Equus is horse. Delphinus, dolphin. Panthera leo is nothing but tiger. Panthera leo is lion. Tigris is tiger. And Balænoptera is the blue whale. Camelus is camel. Pan is nothing but chimpanzees. And Cavia are guinea pigs. So these are all the complete examples of the mammals. Okay, so with this we are completing our animal kingdom. So I hope you guys, this video session, like totally 3 videos are there. I wish everyone to just go through all these 3 videos. The link will be in the description. Just go through all these videos once or twice or thrice, so you will be getting to know about each and every point of animal kingdom clearly. And after that, you just go and practice the papers. I'm damn sure, I will assure you, you can easily attend and you can easily get positive marks. Okay, so say bye bye for your negative marks. I wish everyone should crack your NEET. Okay, I hope like you will be enjoying my session. Okay, so if you enjoying my session, just do subscribe and share this video for your friends. Will create a big ecosystem, right? Okay, and I will be happy to develop myself. Like each and every video, I will try to execute some new things in my videos. So for that, I need your kind support. Okay, until or unless we are not dreaming big, nothing will happen, right? So that is the motto of us. Okay, think big, dream big. Okay, thank you so much, guys. You can follow me in Instagram also, that is Salim HRS. Thank you so much. Bye.